So San Diego Comic-Con was back once again this year. And this year, to be perfectly honest, wasn't as crazy as previous years. Like, there weren't as many announcements or trailers. The MCU sat this year out entirely, there was no new X-Men stuff really, no publicly released Sony stuff. But hey, there was certainly still enough stuff to make a video on. Two things to note. One, there are links down below to every trailer I talk about. And two, I almost definitely missed something. Like, I'm 99% sure, because there's just so much going on at Comic-Con that I'm sure something slipped through the cracks. So sorry about that, but I think I got most of it. Alright, I've divided all this into Marvel, DC, and Other. Now let's start off, as usual, with the Other, which I'm gonna speed around a little, because some of these, as you'll see, I don't have a lot to say about. First up, The Predator had a new poster and some new footage was shown. The movie's very close to coming out, so not much to say here. A lot of people seem very mixed on this film. I think it looks pretty awesome, and I have total confidence in Shane Black. Then there was some behind-the-scenes footage shown from It Chapter 2, showing the Losers Club kids reuniting at a Chinese restaurant. There was more footage shown from The Nun, which, by the way, based on that first trailer, looks just absolutely terrifying. There was also a Halloween panel, where the highlight was a fan telling Jamie Lee Curtis that Halloween saved his life during a home invasion, which is a pretty sweet video if you haven't seen it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is getting a reboot courtesy of Joss Whedon. Sure, never watched it. There was a new look at the new Doctor Who, and yes, I'm aware it's the Doctor, not Doctor Who. Please don't lose your mind at me in the comments. There was a Walking Dead Season 9 trailer, Star Trek Discovery Season 2 trailer, a Steven Universe film was announced, Voltron Season 7 trailer. The thing that all these have in common, unfortunately, is that I don't watch them. But if you do, hey, link down below to all of that stuff. I hear Star Trek Discovery is great. And there was a trailer for the new show Night Flyers, which is based on a book by George R.R. Martin. It looks pretty good, but I hate the fact that I was kind of put off by this because of the Cloverfield paradox. It's frustrating, because I know it'll almost definitely be better than the Cloverfield paradox. But because it looks quite similar, I just instantly went, ugh, I don't want to go through that again. Kind of a similar situation with the Emoji Movie and Wreck-It Ralph 2. There was also a trailer for The Dragon Prince, which is the new thing from the people behind Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a very short teaser, but it didn't really blow me away or anything, gotta be honest. Also, there's a live-action Kim Possible film coming from Disney, and we got our first look at it. Great. Didn't really watch Kim Possible that much as a kid, but I played that Game Boy, or DS, or whatever system game for it, and that was fun. Now, thankfully, on to shows that I have actually seen. There was a Breaking Bad reunion panel, where it was awesome to see just everyone back together. Also, Walt and Jesse are apparently going to show up, not in this season, but at some point in Better Call Saul before it ends. So hell yes to that. I do need to catch up though, I'm still in Season 2. There was a teaser for Stranger Things Season 3, which was like an 80s mall advertisement with probably my favorite Stranger Things character in it. Sure, great. There was a panel for Archer, where they revealed the next season will be called Archer in 1999, and will be in space, because of course it will. I'm watching Season 9 right now, and I'm loving it so far. There was also a Brooklyn Nine-Nine panel. Which I'm almost done with Season 3, and it has quickly become one of my favorite shows. Almost up there with The Office. Then there was a little bit of Star Wars news. There are going to be some new books focusing on the prequel era, and then the Clone Wars TV show was saved, which I've never watched, but everyone seemed completely overjoyed by. So that was really nice to see. Then there was a little Bumblebee news, new footage and new poster and some reveals that I guess could be considered a little spoilery. Maybe, not really. If you don't want anything about this film ruined for you, like some locations and a possible cameo, just mute this video now and unmute it when this symbol disappears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, alright. So apparently the film is going to have some scenes on Cybertron, which is cool, I guess, ties it more into the other Transformers films. And also apparently the footage they showed had a holographic Optimus Prime communicating with Bumblebee. I said that might be a cameo, but maybe he plays a large-ish role, I don't know. Alright, all done there. They showed some Lego Movie 2 footage, which had some Lego Harley Quinn in it. Cool. And now we get to the big blockbuster trailers from the Other section. First up, Glass, the third film in the Unbreakable Split trilogy. I haven't seen Unbreakable yet, but I have actually seen Split, and I really liked it, especially James McAvoy's performance. So I was excited to see more of him here. Overall, I think I'll have more to say and be more excited once I've actually seen Unbreakable. Like, to people who love that film, seeing these characters return now must be mind-blowing. But to a person like myself, who's just seen Split, this still looks pretty cool. Also, the cinematography looks pretty amazing. Then we got a trailer for the sequel to Godzilla, Godzilla King of the Monsters, which looks interesting. I have some mixed feelings on it. I like seeing Millie Bobby Brown in more stuff. Apparently a lot of people hate her. I don't really know why. I just know she's great on Stranger Things, so I'm happy to see her in more big mainstream stuff. The rest of the cast looks really great. They got Charles Dance to say a Game of Thrones sounding line.
Long live the king.
Nearly all these visuals look amazing, a lot of the action looks cool, and I will say, despite this also being a complaint of mine in a sec, I am intrigued by the idea of there being like tons of monsters in this, and all of them fighting or working together or whatever. But at the same time, I fear this might have jumped the shark a little. Like the first Godzilla, I know people have complaints about it, I liked it, and I also like the more grounded aspect of most of it. And this looks like it could be slipping a little more into Pacific Rim type territory, which I know some people might like, but then I just think, why not watch Pacific Rim? I mean, 1 or 2 new monsters, sure, but a whole big universe? Just so you know, this is coming from someone who's not really a huge Godzilla fan. I don't know all about the lore or anything. I don't know, I guess they want to make this cinematic Godzilla-Kong universe, and it could be very fun and interesting. It just has me a little cautious. Also, this shot in particular just so reminded me of like an Independence Day type disaster film. And as much as I like Independence Day, I'm kind of over total disaster movies at this point. Like, I know Godzilla is gonna knock down some buildings, but like an apocalypse? It looks cool, hoping for the best, but I'm not super insanely excited. And then finally, for the newest trailer for Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I feel like I don't get a chance to talk about that much on this channel. But like, before the MCU, this was my favorite franchise of all time. I've read all the books multiple times, I've seen all the movies multiple times, I grew up with it, I love this world. All that said, I've been a little on this movie in particular. The first few pieces of promo stuff hasn't wowed me, and I thought the first film was pretty good, but wasn't amazing or anything. But this trailer might have been my favorite thing from Comic-Con this year. I am well on board for this movie now. Sure, this did play on the nostalgia a lot, what with the Bogart scene and Nicholas Flamel showing up at the end, and I'm pretty sure I spotted the Mirror of Erised in there. But hey, that nostalgia worked for me. It honestly just made me smile. The rest of this just looks super fun and whimsical. The first Fantastic Beasts, something that I didn't love with it, was that besides the parts in the briefcase where Newt was touring around the beasts, it was sort of dark and dull, and I guess not really that whimsical, especially for this world. But this just looks like all of that. Plus, making Newt's story maybe somewhat more secondary to a grander story more in the forefront this time, with Dumbledore, I think is a great idea. Still loving Jude Law's Dumbledore, and they've surprisingly put quite a big focus on Johnny Depp in this trailer, and also at Comic-Con itself. You'd think they try to play that down, but nope, he's a very big part of this. Look, besides all the personal stuff around him, confirmed or alleged, just as an actor, I haven't really loved anything he's done in a while. But hey, maybe this can turn things around. If he isn't actually a terrible person in real life, which he very well might be. But overall, it just looks like a very exciting, fun time that expands on this universe that I already really love. That ending also gave me chills.
Mr. Scamander,
Do you think Dumbledore will mourn for you?
So yeah, count me in as very excited. Now moving on to Marvel, where again, the majority of the Marvel stuff didn't really show this year. But the little that we got was pretty good, I guess. Cloak and Dagger got renewed for season 2. Hooray, I guess. I don't watch it. People seem to like that show. Cloak and Dagger is actually the first MCU property that I haven't watched, because after Runaways I was like, yeah, that was good, but it's not something I feel really compelled to go back to. And this seemed a bit similar to that, but hey, let me know down below if Cloak and Dagger is actually amazing. The Gifted got a trailer for season 2. I was not expecting that, because the first season looked very mediocre to me, but apparently it was good enough to warrant a second season. Deadpool 2 had an extreme supercut shown for all the fans, with more violence and jokes and some of those alternate end credit scenes. For example, one involving Baby Hitler, which I won't spoil if you don't know what it is. There was a new trailer for that PS4 Spider-Man game, which looks awesome. And Iron Fist Season 2 had a teaser, which I guess was the only MCU footage we saw this year. It's impossible to say if this will be good based on this teaser, since it's less than a minute. The main takeaway from this for me was the release date, September 7th, which I was very sure was going to go to Daredevil Season 3. But nope, it's going to Iron Fist, because Marvel Netflix just won't give me the one show I'm actually dying to see more of. Give us Daredevil Season 3 already, please. As far as this one, the Iron Fist episode was one of my favorite parts of Luke Cage Season 2, review coming sometime. And from that, I feel like he really works better as a supporting character, who sort of just pops up from time to time. A whole other season? I don't really know. Hopefully they've learned from Season 1. I'd really just rather see a Luke Cage Iron Fist team-up show. Also, Misty Knight's gonna be in it. Great. I loved her in Luke Cage Season 2. Then Sony had a bunch of stuff that the public didn't get to see, which I guess is fair. There was some new Into the Spider-Verse footage shown, apparently with new heroes in it. As a lot of people predicted and hoped, this is just gonna go crazy and have tons of different spider people in it, including Spider-Ham, which is amazing. I am so excited for that film. It looks incredible. And then Venom had some more footage shown, which we'll probably be seeing next week. We actually already have this leak still from it, so enjoy that. There were a few takeaways from this. One, Venom is gonna be huge in this, like maybe a little under Colossus-sized from Deadpool. He also at one point makes like giant axes out of his hands, which does sound kind of awesome. 2, this is going to be really violent, apparently. And 3, the villain is going to be another symbiote, Riot, played by Riz Ahmed. Which A, is sort of disappointing that it's not going to be Carnage. And B, even if it was Carnage, another symbiote is a risky way to go, because I don't want this to just turn into Iron Man versus Ironmonger, Hulk versus Abomination, Black Panther versus Killmonger, CGI, 2 very similar characters punching each other. Also, Tom Hardy hinted that he'd like to work with Tom Holland in the future, and a lot of people took that as Spidey is going to be in this film, but I seriously doubt that. It'd be really awesome if he was, but Marvel Studios seems to be trying to get as far away from this as they can. Also, if you've seen this pic going around and think it's real, yeah, it's not. It's very much not. And now, finally, DC, who clearly won Comic-Con, in the same way that a person would win a race if half the other runners didn't show up, and the other half showed up with 2 broken legs. First up, Teen Titans Go to the Movies had a screening, and apparently it's good. Yay. And then, speaking of Teen Titans, but on a much grittier and cooler and edgy note, there's the Titans TV show for the new DC streaming service, starring the very... actor Brenton Thwaites. Now, I'll be honest, I was kind of rooting for this show. A DC streaming service sounds like a cool idea, and these are some good characters. And DC's TV shows are generally quite good, at least the ones I watch. So I went into this quite hopeful. And I came out of it less hopeful. On a scale of superhero TV, I'd say it looks better than Inhumans, but worse than Iron Fist. The one thing this has going for me is not really a good thing at all, but the unintentionally funny, which sometimes can be even better than the actually funny. The way the show seems to be trying to be so dark and edgy is kind of hilarious to me. It seems like a 13-year-old's idea of what a really edgy Titan show would be. Brenton Thwaites beating up some guys and saying "F*** Batman" has not once failed to make me burst out laughing every time I've watched this trailer. Besides that aspect though, the rest of this just looks kind of poorly made. I mean, it's just a trailer, but the effects and costumes don't look that great to me. Besides the Robin suit, that costume actually looks decent, and the whole thing looks quite cliche and boring. The dialogue is also pretty bad from what we've seen here. I'll probably skip this one unless everyone says it's actually really good, or a huge train wreck that you just have to see. Speaking of these characters, I think there was a trailer for the new season of Young Justice called Outsiders. Everyone loves that show, maybe I'll jump on board soon. There was also a trailer for The Flash Season 5, which I started watching and then stopped, because I realized I probably don't want all of Season 4 spoiled for me. Because yeah, I haven't caught up with The Flash Season 4 yet, sue me. I just finished the episode where they go to a strip club. That's where I'm at. And a similar situation for Arrow Season 7, there was a trailer and I didn't watch it because I'm still in Season 1. Again, working on it. Then there were also trailers for Legends of Tomorrow Season 4, Supergirl Season 4, Black Lightning Season 2, and Krypton Season 2, where they used tweets from fans instead of critic reviews, which was a little hilarious sometimes. Anyway, yeah, if you like DC TV, then this was a good day for you. Then there was the announcement that we're getting a live-action Stargirl series, who I vaguely remember from that episode of Justice League, where they go to the center of the Earth, or something. That was a bit of a weird one. Also, isn't she friends with the guy in like an Ironmonger type suit? That's pretty much all I know about her, but hey, could be fun. Also, Batwoman is coming to the Arrowverse, but we already knew that. Oh, also, DC changed its cinematic universe's official name from the DC Extended Universe to Worlds of DC. Which, fine, I guess. I mean, I've finally gotten used to saying DCEU instead of DCCU, and now they're changing it to WODC. I'm gonna stick with DCEU until it becomes socially unacceptable. And now, the big DC stuff. The movies. Wonder Woman 84 had a quick trailer, which actually partially leaked online. The most I saw of it was a GIF on Twitter, which I won't include in this video, because I don't want to risk this getting taken down, but I'll put a link to it in the description. It's Wonder Woman in a mall, lassoing a few guys. Great. It's what she's usually up to. I'm actually very optimistic about this film, and I hope I'll love it as much as most people loved the first one, which I thought was pretty good, but not amazing. And then the 2 other big films. Firstly, Shazam. We got some Entertainment Weekly covers and photos, and then we actually got a trailer, which I was hoping for, but also wasn't expecting, because this is so far away. Then again, these are the people who put out a Justice League trailer, like, well over a year before that film, so I guess I should have seen this coming. But anyway, the trailer. When I watched this the first time, I was a little lukewarm on it. Like, yeah, it looked fun, but not as good as I was hoping. But the more times I watch it, the more I really enjoy it, and start getting more excited for this film. There's still some stuff that I'm worried about, but overall, I'm actually quite pumped for this. Zachary Levi looks like the absolute perfect choice for this. He looks like he pulls off a kid being stuck inside the body of a grown man superhero perfectly. I think I'm mostly looking forward to that aspect. And overall, the movie looks like a lot of fun, especially the Shazam training aspect and learning about his powers. It looks really enjoyable, and there were quite a few moments where I laughed, or at least smiled. I had a smile on my face throughout most of this trailer. My only gripe really is that the movie just looks and feels kinda cheap. Like, not just the costume. I know there's a huge debate over this costume, whether it's good or bad. Personally, it looks a little cheap to me, but it's actually growing on me. I mean, the rest of the film just looks a bit like a lower budget kids movie. And this obviously is more geared towards kids than some of the other DC films, but I just wish it didn't look this cheap. Not all the time, sometimes it looks like a proper high-budget cinema experience, but occasionally it felt a little like a CW TV kind of thing. Also, not all the jokes and that kind of stuff landed, and the Billy Batson stuff looks a lot more cliche and less interesting than the Shazam stuff to me. Also, question, is this actually set in the DCEU? Like, because we see Superman and Batman are in this world, and he has like a proper Batflick Batarang, so I guess it is. It's pretty much entirely inconsequential. I just find it a little funny that the universe that started with this and then moved on to this and was supposed to be the super dark alternative to Marvel, now is here.
Superpowers, dude, I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
But I don't have a problem with that, because unlike Justice League, where it tried to take characters who are dark and more importantly, who in this universe have already been a certain way, and turn the tone basically on its head. While this tone seems to fit this character perfectly. So hey, I'm not like beyond excited for this, but I'm genuinely looking forward to it. And finally, there was the Aquaman trailer, which I was expecting to blow my mind and be like the crown jewel of this year's Comic-Con. And for a lot of people, apparently it was that. For me, I found it actually a bit disappointing. And I know this video probably just got a big uptick in dislikes. There are also some posters and images and whatnot, but the trailer's the big thing. I didn't hate this or anything, and overall, I'm still excited for it because James Wan is such a good director and I have confidence in him. And there is stuff in here that I did like. The city of Atlantis itself looks awesome. That was a very Black Panther moment introducing it, but it looks really cool, and like something I've never really seen before. Some action also looks cool. Aquaman lifting a submarine was awesome. This shot is amazing. And again, I have faith that this will actually be entertaining. There are interesting ideas here, and I think parts of this could be really creative. Possibly. However, there's a lot of stuff that just left me a little disappointed. For example, that origin story looks like the most cliche thing in the world. Like Harry Potter, or Spider-Man, or any number of similar scenes where a hero discovers their powers. And also, that shark looks horrendous. That is some terrible CGI. Overall, some of the CGI in this looks cool, and some looks really Last Act of Wonder Woman, Last Act of Justice League CGI, which I would have thought they would have improved by now. Also, as good of a choice as I think Jason Momoa is for this character, I gotta be honest, I don't love this super bro version of Aquaman. Like in Justice League, almost a little like that Titans trailer, I found it a bit unintentionally hilarious how cool they were trying to make Aquaman with the rock music and the drinking and all that. Like, Jason Momoa is cool, you don't have to go super over the top with it. And now in here, when he's like,
I call it an ass whooping.
I mean, it's consistent with the character they've set up, so props for that, but I don't love that part of the character at least. The part where he drops down in the sub, that was genuinely cool.
Permission to come aboard.
More stuff like that would be great. The story and villain look a little overdone too, like a hero comes back to earn their right to the throne from their evil family member, and I'm a little torn on that end final battle with this giant Lord of the Rings type underwater fight. Like, it could devolve into just nonsense CGI battle that's not that interesting, as these superhero movies, even the great ones, sometimes do. But it could also be a really cool epic final battle that actually feels fulfilling, which I feel like we don't get as often as the first option, and I'm really hoping for here. Overall, Aquaman, hoping for the best, and some stuff looks really cool, but this trailer did not blow me away like I was hoping it would. So those were my thoughts on Comic-Con this year. What did you think of all of these announcements? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson. Check out this podcast about movies and TV and whatnot I do every other week with a friend of mine. It's called The Poorly Planned Podcast. And subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.